is in crisis. And people are looking for hope and answers. Thai PBS World is there with you with the best minds of the day. Join us on Thai PBS World Tonight, every weekdays at 7 p.m. Thai PBS World, we bring Thailand to the world.
สวัสดีค่ะ Very good evening and welcome to our 7 o'clock news Thai PBS World Tonight. I am Natha Gomonwadin.
Good evening, I'm Sept Chaiyong. It's going to be a big day tomorrow, huh?
Yes.
So if the students live up to their promise, the rally tomorrow will turn out to be the biggest ever political rally in years.
Yes, all eyes are now at the university campus, Thammasat University, especially on tomorrow, which will be the big day of student gathering, which will be led by young generation of Thailand.
But the issue is that the student leaders seem to be keeping their plans under wrap. We still don't know exactly what will be said on the stage and what kind of activities they will conduct. In fact, the authorities have been trying hard to find out whether or not the students have planned to move out of the Thammasat campus to some other destinations. So that's why they are throwing a blanket of security, mobilizing as many as 10,000 police personnel to cover at least 3 important landmarks, Thammasat, the Government House and the Royal Plaza, because these are the key areas that the authorities believe that the protester will camp out or will visit. And of course, one concern is that there will be the so-called invisible hand. In Thai, we call it the third hand, right?
Yes.
That authorities are afraid could play a undesirable role in inciting disorder or even causing violence. So what we are seeing now is the last major rally by the students at the Democracy Monument on the 16th of August, right? And earlier, on August the 10th, another big rally was held at the Rangsit campus of Thammasat University.
Yes, and it was the night that was a big surprise to everyone in Thai society because one of the leaders appeared on the stage and she read out 10 manifesto to calling for reform of monarchy, and that has become the day that the protest break the taboo in Thailand, in which we couldn't quite mention about the monarchy in Thai society.
And it's very likely that the 10-point demand will be repeated at tomorrow's rally because the student leaders have promised a big surprise tomorrow night. So we don't know yet what the big surprise is, but we can guess as to what it's going to be like.
Yes, probably they will repeat the 10 manifesto again, but the big surprise, we still don't know. It's still being kept as the secret among leaders of the protesters.
And it looks like the biggest enemy of the student protesters tomorrow will be the weather. They can expect heavy rainfall tomorrow because of the arrival of the No-U tropical storm, which hit the northeastern parts of the country this evening. And it certainly will cause widespread rainfall all over the country, including Bangkok.
Yes, and including other countries in the region as well, especially Vietnam and Philippines could be hit hard by this storm as well.
Right. Tonight we'll start with the stand being taken by the Prime Minister, Kun Prayut Chan-o-cha, related to the protest tomorrow. So far, the Prime Minister has been sending a rather mixed message to the students on their plan to rally at Thammasat University tomorrow.
ปฏิบัติเพื่อความนุ่มนวลนะเพราะว่าเด็ก
On one hand, he keeps referring to the students as my children and preached not to use force against them. He also said he respects their right to express themselves. And in his remarks during a House debate last week, the Prime Minister said he had instructed authorities to be lenient in dealing with the young protesters. He repeated the assurance in a news briefing yesterday. But on the other hand, he also warned the students not to cross the line. Essentially, he was warning them not to touch the monarchy. Prayut, who is known for his staunch loyalty to the monarchy, has been hinting that certain political groups are behind the ongoing student protests and he vowed not to give in to the protesters and opposition MPs' demand for him to resign, saying that he still has work to do for the country and the people. And yesterday, for the first time, he raised the coronavirus pandemic to caution the students against holding any more protests.
การชุมนุมจะสร้างความวุ่นวายในประเทศและทำลายสมาธิการทำงานของภาครัฐ
He said mass gatherings by the students are increasing the risk of a resurgence of the virus that would impact millions of Thai people. He said that if students gather, they are increasing the risk of a resurgence of the coronavirus, and then the resurgence would impact the livelihoods of millions of Thai people, and certainly the consequence will be very bad and could certainly bring the Thai economy to the point that the country has never seen before. And while recognizing the protesters' right to express their political grievances, the Prime Minister insisted that the country's priority is to go through the pandemic and revive the economy. And he called on Thai people to unite to fight the pandemic and confront the economic crisis. And he said political conflicts can come later. So this is the key message from his speech to the country yesterday, that he wants to see the people give priority to joining to fight the pandemic and not to preoccupy with the political conflicts. And speaking to reporters today, Prime Minister Prayut clarified that he did not intend to use the pandemic to threaten or scare the protesters. He insisted that he raised the issue out of concerns for public health safety. So that's the latest comments from the Prime Minister. And despite his message to the students has been mixed. I mean, on one hand he said, these are my children.
Yeah.
And yet on the other hand he said, well, don't cross the line. But of course we can take comfort from the fact that he keeps repeating that no force will be used against the protesters.
Probably it's like carrot and stick strategy to communicate with young people.
Right.
But right now it seems clear that General Prayut, the Prime Minister, has become the clear target, the shared target between the opposition parties and student leaders as well. So it means that young student protesters and opposition parties are on the same page, and they have direct demand to the Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha. And they are seen by many as working hand in glove to topple the Prayut government. Opposition MPs have been openly supportive of the students' demand for a new constitution and an end to harassment of government critiques all along. But most opposition parties have been careful in distancing themselves from the students' demand for a reform of the monarchy. The exception is the Khao Klai or Move Forward Party, a reincarnation of the now defunct Future Forward Party, which has identified itself closely with the student movement. But in a show of solidarity, the 6 opposition parties yesterday issued a joint statement to support the student protest tomorrow. The statement urged the government to respect the people's freedom of expression, and the statement read on their behalf by Pheu Thai party leader Sompong Amornvivat called on the government to provide safety for the protesters and refrain from any harassment against them. It emphasized the need for the constitution to be amended to do away with the role of the Senate appointing the Prime Minister. The state said MPs of the opposition parties will be at the rally as observers and to help ensure safety for the protesters. It's obvious that both the opposition parties and the students share one immediate goal, that is ousting Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha. So that's quite clear goal for them.
That's right. But their common target, Kun Prayut has made it clear that he is not going to give in to the pressure to resign, so, because he claimed that he still has a lot of work to do. So for the time being, we don't see any signs that General Prayut is stepping back.
Yeah, probably, but he is obviously very much under pressure.
All right. So it's certain that the students will go ahead with the plan to hold their rally at Thammasat University tomorrow. As we all know that the university is one of Thailand's oldest higher learning institutions. And Thammasat is once again being thrust into the limelight because it will be used for what promises to be the biggest political rally since the military seized power back in 2014. And one major reason why Thammasat was chosen as the protest venue is because of its long history of student activism. The university has also been the site of many history-making political activities. No doubt, in the eyes of protest leaders, Thammasat certainly has a strong symbolism for their rally. And of course, as a university, Thammasat can be considered a safer venue for the anti-government protesters compared to other public places. Protest organizers are not required to seek prior official permission for the rally on the campus. The law on public gatherings makes exemption for education institutions. Of course, not everyone at Thammasat University agrees with the idea that the campus be used for tomorrow's rally. Thai PBS World has talked to several students and lecturers of the university and found that there are opposing views among them concerning the issue. Even alumni of the university also clash on the issue. One group, led by a former vice rector and ex-senator, Kyaosan Atipoti, has voiced objection to the rally being held on the campus. Another group, led by well-known writer Suchat Sawatsi, demonstrated support for the rally.
Thammasat University emerged as a hotbed for student activism in the early 70s. It gave birth to a protest movement that culminated in the famous October 14 uprising in 1973. The event eventually led to the ouster of the dictatorial Thanom government. In the aftermath, the campus became a breeding ground of student activists who were at the time being increasingly influenced by leftist ideology. But 3 years later, Thammasat was turned into a site of massacre where dozens of students were brutally assaulted and killed by right-wing mobs encouraged by state authorities. The violence ended with a military coup against the Seni Pramod government. As Thailand's second oldest university, Thammasat was established in 1934 as an open institute of higher education for law and politics. It came just 2 years after the June 1932 Siamese Revolution, which abolished absolute monarchy.
All right, so the university certainly has a long history of student activism.
Yes.
And the protesters certainly want to continue that tradition.
Yes, and tomorrow big event, big gathering will take place again at Thammasat University. And right now, let's take a look at the demand by student protesters. There are 2 days that they have their own demand pressing on the government, Kun Thep Chai.
Okay.
So it's starting from the 10th of August with the 3 demands.
That's right. So the 3 demands focus mostly on what they want to see as political changes. And of course, the most important of the demands is a new constitution, because the students see the current constitution as being very undemocratic, because it was drawn under the influence of the military junta that seized power in 2014. And of course, as we all know, that the current constitution includes many provisions and sections that certainly, prolong the role of the military in politics. So they want to see a totally new constitution that would ensure that the country will return to full democracy. And then, of course, the new constitution should pave the way for a house dissolution. And this because the students and opposition MPs, who share the same stand, want to see house dissolution so that a new election will be held. And of course, what they also see as most important is the continuing harassment of government critics by state authorities. So one of the demands is for the government to end on the intimidation and harassment of people who have come out to criticize the government, and to demand political changes. So these are the three basic demands, which certainly will be repeated tomorrow at tomorrow's rally.
Yes, that's the three demands. So that's the first group of demands by student protesters. They also have two more standpoints pressing directly at the government as well, that they would like to see in the future that there shouldn't be no military coup and no national unity government.
Because we have been hearing a lot of rumors about a potential military coup d'etat amidst the current conflicts. And every time that there are conflicts of this scale, then this kind of rumors would emerge. And once again, we have been hearing this rumor with a lot more and more intensity as tomorrow's rally approaches. So the students want to make sure that there will be no more coup in Thailand. And the reason why they raise the issue of a national unity government is because that the two things are associated, coup and national unity government. So the fear is that there would be attempts to sort of get rid of the current government, and then in the interim set up a national unity government comprising probably parties from different beliefs and lump into one coalition government. And that would be seen as attempts to prolong the power of the current peoples in power. So no coup and then no national unity government.
Yes, so the two groups of proposal of the demand by the students are having questions based on politics in Thailand, and they would like to see change in terms of mechanism in the parliament as well. And to talk about two sets, we have to talk about the other groups of demand as well, Kun Thepchai, and
the demands which are more earth-shaking.
yeah, and break the taboo in Thailand, especially in relation to the monarchy. That happened on the 10th of August.
Yeah.
That a student leader read this 10-point manifesto on the stage.
It has come to be known as 10-point manifesto now, and it's certainly the sort of a rallying point for tomorrow's protest. So if you look at all these 10-point demands carefully, it all deals with the monarchy.
Yes. The first one, they said House of Representatives be entitled to hold the monarch accountable for his conduct. And the second, abrogate Article 112 of the Criminal Code on lese majesty offense. Clear division of crown property and personal property of the monarch. And reduce state budget for the monarchy. Abrogate the monarch's personal agencies, including the Privy Council, end all royal charity. No public opinions on political issues by the monarch. No glorification of the monarchy. Investigation into death of critique of the monarchy. The monarch will not endorse any more military coup. So those are 10-point demand by the student protester.
Yeah. This kind of demand is certainly unprecedented in Thai history anyway, because the monarchy, as you mentioned, that is an issue, is a taboo that nobody would want to would want to touch, sensitive, and because the Thai people hold the monarchy in high esteem, and nobody would raise questions in this manner. But of course, the student protester insists that these demands are not meant to lead to an abrogation of the monarchy, but it should lead to a situation in which the monarchy can coexist with the democracy and with the monarchy under the constitution. Of course, it is something that that is up for debate, because at the end of the day, we have talked to a number of academics and political observers. Their concern is that it's not the message, it's not the demands themselves that are the issue, but it's the means of delivery of the message, the way that these 10 demands have been presented, and the language that has been used when they talk about the monarchy, on the stage especially. And of course, we have seen some of the student leaders who have been very vocal, very outspoken, and never hold back when they talk about the monarchy. So this is exactly where the problem is. Not the message, but the delivery of the message.
Yes, gesture, language, and the way they speak about the 10 demand are quite crucial as well. And with some academic which we interview in our program, he said it's okay to mention or to ask questions about monarchy, and it's different between talking about monarchy and the monarch. So we have to separate the two issues. So that's another point from peace activists who joined our program. And talk about this student-led protest, Kun Thepchai, we see how youth movement is very active in Thailand at the moment, comprising university students and high school students. Especially on university students, we see some faces who are leaders of the protest, and some of them have become more familiar faces in Thai society right now. Let's take a look at some of their faces who probably can be on the stage tomorrow. Like,
So these are at least 5 of the student leaders, right, who have been shown as the faces of tomorrow's rally.
yes. Even now, it's still quite confusing probably for people who are used to the past protests, because leaders are clear, but for this protest, it's quite unclear who are the leaders.
Yes, but if you take a look at these 5 people, of course they have been gaining a lot of media attention with their vocal presentations on many issues, especially issues that deal with the monarchy.
Yeah.
And
Common name is Parit Chiwarak or Penguin, and lawyer Anon Nampa is also, he's in the middle of this photo. He was on stage on the 10th and 16th of August. So tomorrow night probably he will be on the stage as well.
yeah, 2 of them are still students. That is Kun Penguin Parit Chiwarak, and then the girl Kun Rung Panasaya. Both of them are still students, and
Yes.
but the rest are they were activists.
Yeah.
Especially Kun Anon. Kun Anon is a human rights lawyer who has been also very outspoken.
Yes. And Kun Rung Papatsaya was the one who read the 10-point manifesto on the 10th of August at Thammasat University, Rangsit campus. And to get to know these young faces as the leaders of the protest, it's probably people would like to see their mission and what have driven them to have come to this point. So let's take a look at this report for more details.
On August 16th, an anti-government demonstration was held on Rajadamnern Road at the Democracy Monument. It was the first in the 6 years since the last coup. Thattep Rungpaphai-Kittseri, newly graduated from the Political Science Faculty of Chulalongkorn University, is one of the young activist leaders. He said the rally had been beyond his expectations. He was so delighted, and it gave him more hope.
แฟนผมใช่ไหมผมแล้วก็เพื่อนอีกคนหนึ่งตั้ง
It all started last year when my partner, another friend, and I formed a free youth page because we wanted to create a platform for youth. At that time, in 2019, we felt like there was no political space for young people at all.
Since mid-July, protesters have been calling for the departure of Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, as well as the rewriting of the constitution, the dissolution of parliament, and an end to the harassment of activists. Some protesters also seek reforms to curb the powers of the monarchy.
ด้วยระบอบประชาธิปไตยที่มีสถาบันพระมหากษัตริย์อยู่ใต้รัฐธรรมนูญอย่างแท้จริง
พอไปบวกกับ 6 ปีที่ผ่านมาทั้งเรื่องของการเมืองสิทธิเสรีภาพ
In the past 6 years, politics, freedom, human rights, and economy, everything has collapsed. So my partner advised me to take action by inviting people to protest via our page. As the Secretary General, I agreed to the idea and posted it on Facebook page, and we received very good feedback. At that time, there was no one leading the protest, so I decided to do it, which was very confusing. Even today, I still wonder how I got here.
Thattep said his political interest began during the last round of protests, when the Yellow Shirts shut down Bangkok in clashes with the racial supporters of fugitive former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra. For this new political battle, however, he is playing a major role. What does he really expect from this fight?
นี่เราตั้งเป้าหมายไว้แล้วว่าเราต้องการสำเร็จ3ข้อเรียกร้องบน
The Free People Movement wants to accomplish 3 things: 2 political positions and a dream. These include the government casing its harassment of the people, a new constitution based on the people's will, and the dissolution of the parliament. No matter what happens, we want no more coups d'etat, and we reject the establishment of the nation unity. We also dream of a monarchical institution that is truly under the constitution.
Thattep and his boyfriend were arrested on August 26th. They are among 15 people charged with breaching internal security laws and defying an emergency decree to stop the spread of coronavirus. They were released on bail the same day and now await trial.
And what is most remarkable about this current protest movement is the fact that it is being led by young students. Unlike in the past, when we talk about political rallies, then the people at the forefront would be politicians or professional political activists. But of course, this time around, when the movement gains momentum, politicians jump on the bandwagon. So tomorrow, there will be a lot of supporters of political parties joining the rally as well.
Yeah, so it's probably is the first time since October the 14th and October 9th that we can see how young people have been very active politically, but it's totally different context with the past protests. This time they are concerned with their personal issue as well, not only political, not only military coup or national unity government, but they are also concerned with personal issue, or we could say that personal has become very political.
That's right. Yeah.
And in order to see what will be taking place at Thammasat University area and Sanam Luang area, we have 2 correspondents of Thai PBS World right now are ready to have more details. So let's begin with Kun Nat Bunnak. Right now she is at Sanam Luang. Kun Nat, what can you tell us?
So right now I'm at Sanam Luang, which will be one of the main locations for the student protest tomorrow, apart from the Thap Prajan campus of Thammasat University. As expected, there will be a lot of university students joining the protest tomorrow, but there will also be high school students joining as well. As based on a couple of reports, this will be one of the biggest demonstrations since the coup d'etat
there seems to
back
be
in
some
2014.
problem with the voice connection, right? We try to reconnect with her.
Yeah.
And Kun Nat is reporting from Sanam Luang, where we understand that in situation like this, communication is always a problem, either intentionally or not intentionally.
Yes, and tomorrow probably would be more difficult because that would be more crowded. But right now, let's get back to Kun Nat again, reporting from Sanam Luang. Kun Nat, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, right now I'm at Sanam Luang, which will be one of the main locations for the student protest tomorrow, apart from the Thap Prajan campus of Thammasat University. As expected, there will be a lot of university students joining the protest, along with high school students as well. Based on a couple of reports, this will be the biggest demonstration since the coup d'etat back in 2014, as well as the biggest demonstrations that are quite similar to the October uprising back in 1973.
All right, so and again, we are trying to fix the problem with the voice connection. All right, Kun Nat now is at Sanam Luang, which is being seen as the potential site for the student protester. Because earlier, as we have heard that Thammasat University would not allow the students to use the campus for the rally. So the alternative plan by the protester is to use Sanam Luang grounds. but the tricky thing about it is that the Sanam Luang is classified as a royal compound, and no political activities are allowed on this kind of property. So it's still a big challenge for the students whether they would really want to really step into this dangerous ground.
Yeah. As far as we have got the information tonight, the Thammasat University will be locked out at 8 p.m. and they will mobilize some policemen to be stationed within the university in order to take care of the security inside the university. But it's still conflicting report whether tomorrow protesters can be moved in within the university or not.
The university administration has made it clear that it's not permitting the campus to be used for the rally, but it doesn't say whether or not they will prevent the students from coming in. And the student leaders have made it clear also that no matter what happens, they will use the campus for the rally, even if they have to break onto the campus using force.
And this is some activities happening today. It's what our Thai PBS World has recorded. Some musical bands were there at at Sanam Luang to do some activities. And we also have another correspondent, Kun Kitipat Chun Sukjit, which is also waiting to report for us. But right now, probably if we are ready, we can get back to Kun Nat again.
Okay.
Yes, so let's try to hear more from Kun Nat again. Kun Nat, so have you seen protesters or young people there right now? What's happening?
Right now, at this moment, we don't see any more university students because Thammasat University is almost closed at 8 p.m. So, but earlier, I had a chance to talk to some of the university students who claim to be from the Salaya student group, and this is what they actually expect from the protest and what they hope to achieve after the protests are actually done tomorrow.
All right. Okay. It's still, all right, waiting for the sound from the student that she talked to, right?
Yeah. Kun Nat told me before we appear on the program that she managed to talk to some university students from Mahidol University, and tomorrow they plan to join the protest at Thammasat University. Mahidol is another university that we could see how students have been very active to voice their concern and to have parallel demand to the government as well.
Now we have received report that students from a large number of universities across the country plan to join the rally tomorrow. So that means that they must be on their way from their provinces where they are now to reach Bangkok by tomorrow morning.
So that's how Thammasat University look today, this afternoon. So tomorrow we have to see whether protesters will be filling up this football field.
That's right. And this is the same football field that has been a ground for several history-making events on the campus.
Yes. As we all know that Thammasat has been very active and become symbol of political moves for several times.
That's right. Now, one interesting thing about tomorrow's rally is that there'll be a cross-sector of people joining the rally. Students, yes, certainly they will be the majority, but there are members of non-governmental organizations that have grievances to air, and then we have supporters of various political groups wanting to join the bandwagon. And so it's quite interesting to see a mix, this kind of mix at tomorrow's rally.
Yeah. So now let's take a listen to what university students that could not talk to from Mahidol University.
Nothing gonna happen anyway. then we can expect the least for the worst case that the history will change in the way that we wouldn't be under oppression or suppression from any government anymore, and that's a change we're expecting to. We need a government that hear people and take it seriously that people like us won't tolerate any kind of power or oppression anymore. Let's say I don't want it to end in just protest or protester or anything, but to be explained and really talked about in the parliament. That's what I expected to.
So that's how Mahidol University students think of the protest. And Kun Nat, are you also still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, we are not giving up on you yet, so please continue.
So I had a chance to talk to one of the university students who claimed that they come from the coalition of Salaya students, and many of them actually expect that the government will actually listen to their demands or their proposals for tomorrow during the protest, both at Sanam Luang as well as the Tha Prajan campus at Thammasat University, which will both take place tomorrow.
I am quite confident that we, as people-driven organizations, we do have some sort of security measure, especially when we expect a large number of people to come participate. I think that the organizers themselves have plans beforehand to have big security. I can't say from a participant in the protest because we as Coalition of Salaya students, we come here with the intention of helping. We are only here for medical help and assistance. Hopefully with a scale of the protest, we hope that the government can see now that we are extremely dissatisfied, and hopefully that will propel them into taking actions and listening to the citizens. At the moment, I think the most important thing is to uphold citizens' values in terms of freedom of expression and freedom to have political opinion.
At the same time, there is also a document that has been circulating on social media, which was originally posted by one of the leaders from the Free Youth Group by Thap Rung Prapai Kitsiri, which lists the number of student groups that will be participating at tomorrow's demonstrations. The list comprises of student groups in Bangkok as well as other regions, including some groups that are academics as well. However, we can expect that there will be a lot of people joining the protest, but the exact number is yet to be confirmed, because when I actually shared this document with these students that I talked to earlier, they said that the numbers are not correct to begin with. So the exact numbers for tomorrow's event is yet to be confirmed. But what I can tell you right now is that the key speakers for the Sanam Luang demonstrations, there will be one of the key speakers that you may have heard of a few weeks ago, such as Penguin, Rung Panasaya, as well as Anun Nampa, which has been prominent figures during the past protests.
Okay, Kundonyana, as far as you know, are the students still sticking to their plan to occupy the campus of Thammasat University for the rally? Or have they decided they will go to Sanam Luang, which is the opposite university, instead?
I have heard that they will be using both Sanam Luang as well as the Tha Prajan campus, and based on some of the information that has been circulated on social media, there will be a stage where speakers will be speaking at Sanam Luang as well as some groups of speakers speaking at Tha Prajan as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kun Nat. And tomorrow we look forward to see more of your report live from Thammasat University tomorrow. Thank you.
Because tomorrow we have a special program, Gunata, starting at 3 p.m.
Yes.
Reporting live from Thammasat and Sanam Luang.
Yes, and Kun Nat and our another correspondent is also getting ready to explore what will be the issue, what will be coming up among student protesters tomorrow, Kun Thepchai, because we have another team. So let me know if the team is ready, because we would like to see more of the atmosphere tonight as well at the Thammasat University and Sanam Luang. Okay, right now he seems to be ready. Let's go to Kun Kittipat Chun Sukjit. Kun Kittipat, how are things over there?
สวัสดีครับ คุณนัทธา and คุณเทพชัย Right now I'm standing here at the Sanam Luang, and behind me, as you see, is the Thammasat University, the place that was meant to be the location for the protest tomorrow. But since I have talked to some security guards who take charge in front of the gates of the university, he said that after tonight, from 8 p.m. tonight, the gates of the university will be closed and no one will be allowed into the university in this weekend. And this is the information for now.
And do you have any idea how the students will react to this? What plans do they have for tomorrow then?
So I've talked to the spokesperson of the United Front of the Thammasat University demonstration. He said that he had to have a meeting again. He has to have a meeting again and make a decision again where to hold the protest. Maybe it's in the campus of the Thammasat University or the Sanam Luang. So right now, nothing can be expected and nothing can be make decision right now.
And Kun Kittipat, looking around, do you see many reporters over there? And what about student protesters? Any of them right now?
Yes, actually, at the moment, there's a lot news presenter and students, but right now, it's quite empty. It's just only me right now. Actually, it's raining, but it's not that heavy.
And what
so we can see that. Yep.
What about police officers? Do you see any of them around in that area?
Yes, I saw them at 5 p.m. They come here to just survey the location, but nothing has happened. Just police walking and just shaking around.
Yes. And what the activity we are expected to see tomorrow and from what time? Have you got more details?
Yeah, and it is the same thing that I've talked to you at the moment, because the spokesperson of the protest, he told me that nothing is expected to be happened. Nothing can be expected. Yeah, he has to make the decision again via meeting. And actually, there'll be the guest speaker from many groups of students. The thing is, the gimmick of this protest is that we can see that it's the leaderless protest. It's the gathering of three groups of students. So I'll tell you, first group is the United Front of Thammasat University, and second is Free Youth, and the third is the Student Union of Thailand. Okay, we have heard the group called the Free People, but actually Free Youth and the Student Union of Thailand, these two groups gather as one group called Free People. So actually it's three groups of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
All right. So.
Okay, thank you very much, Kun Kittipat, and tomorrow we will see you again with more reports from Thammasat University.
And another thing that it has to be concerned about is the Noel tropical storm.
Yeah, that's right. That's the biggest enemy
of expect to be land
now.
on northeastern of Thailand this Friday, and it's expected to develop to typhoon or the Category 5 storm. So let's see tomorrow.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And the latest is that the tropical storm that Kun Kittipat was talking about has already landed in northeastern provinces of Thailand.
Yes.
And heavy rain have been reported in those areas already, and we expect heavy rain in Bangkok tomorrow. So the students protesters. I certainly have to be prepared for the biggest enemy.
Yeah, so it's that natural enemy for students' protest, but let's see how it will go tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of our edition tonight of Thai PBS World Tonight. But tomorrow, please stay tuned with us because we will keep you updated with the student rally. And we will start our program from 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Right, yeah. And until things are clear. Right.
Yes. And you will also see more reports from our correspondent, and we will have academic to join us to share their view of how they see the protest tomorrow. So it's a big day for Thai society. Until then, bye for now.
Okay.